They hurt you. Stop waiting for them to sign the confession. Maybe they say you misunderstood, exaggerated, or should be over it. Suddenly you are in a second courtroom. The first question was, what happened? The new one becomes, am I even allowed to say it hurt? Yes. You may name your experience. Their denial does not make your pain imaginary, but pain is not a diagnosis or proof that every conclusion is correct. You do not need a label for them. You need accuracy. What was said, what was done, what changed, and what you will do next. Accuracy is stronger than mind reading. You ignored the limit I stated is clearer than you enjoy controlling me. You shared something I asked you to keep private is firmer than you are incapable of caring. The first sentences describe conduct. The second claim access to a mind you cannot inspect. Name the move. Do not invent the motive. Then notice what happens when the scene keeps replaying. Reflection can be useful when it produces information or a decision. Rumination is different. It can turn the same evidence over and over without creating a safer next step. Daily life research has associated repetitive self-focused thinking after negative events with persistent negative affect. Longitudinal research on interpersonal transgressions has linked increases in rumination with more anger and less forgiveness. Those findings do not prove a universal cause. They support one warning: repetition can keep distress active when no new fact has arrived. The replay often becomes self-prosecution. Maybe I said it badly. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe if I explain perfectly, they will finally admit it. Some details may be worth reviewing. That is not the same as putting your character on trial. In trauma-specific samples, global character-based self-blame has been associated with greater distress. That evidence cannot diagnose you or be generalized to every conflict. It supports a distinction. Review a choice without turning yourself into the crime. Now, the apology. An apology can matter. Research suggests it may increase perceived relationship value and forgiveness under some conditions. That does not mean it repairs every relationship, proves safety, erases a pattern, or obligates forgiveness or reconciliation. Its absence does not cancel your right to make a bounded decision. Stop giving the missing apology veto power. You can want acknowledgment and refuse to wait. If an apology comes, consider more than the sentence. Is there specific acknowledgment, responsibility without an excuse, change you can observe? These are practical questions, not a clinical test, and different situations may yield different answers. Forgiveness is also not a debt. It may help some people move forward, but it is not the same as excusing harm, restoring access, or reconciling. Reconciliation involves more than one person's willingness and may be impossible or unsafe in some situations. You do not have to force a spiritual ending onto a practical problem, so replace the confession hunt with a protection plan. First, describe the event without diagnosing anyone. Write one sentence that a camera could have captured. Then name the impact in your own life. Trust changed, contact feels unsafe, a promise was broken, or a limit was ignored. Next, choose the smallest protective action you control. It might be pausing a conversation, moving it to writing, asking for a witness or support person, limiting access, documenting what occurred, or seeking qualified local help. These are options, not universal instructions. A boundary is not a threat. It does not say, you must agree that I am right. It says, if this happens, here is what I will do. Its force comes from follow-through, not from winning the argument. If taking or communicating a boundary could increase danger, do not use this video as a confrontation plan. Prioritize context-specific safety support and local emergency help when there is immediate risk. This shift may feel unfair because it leaves responsibility on their side of the table. Good. That is where it belongs. You were never supposed to perform both roles, injured person and defense attorney for the person who hurt you. Wanting recognition is human. Making your protection wait for their recognition is optional. The harm was not your fault merely because you now have choices to make. Agency is not blame. Protection is not proof that you caused the problem. It is the part of the situation still reachable by your hands. Maybe they will admit it later. Maybe they will not. Maybe repair will become possible. Maybe distance will remain necessary. This video cannot decide that for you. It can only separate two jobs that should never have been fused. Their job is accountability, whether they acknowledge, repair, change, and accept consequences. Your job is protection. What you name, what you permit, what you document, who you involve, and which safest next step you control. Do not wait for a confession to believe your own pain. Do not turn pain into a diagnosis. Do not confuse an apology with proof of change. Name what happened. Choose the safest step you control. Their accountability is theirs. Your protection is yours. Is